prison has literally become my second home. The episode that is our topic today, however, was a culmination of a chain of events that began in 2011 during the Walk to Work demonstrations. In 2011, I and my other activists for change comrades, the Honorable Francis Mwijuche and Madame Ingrid Tornawe, were arrested and remanded to the prison on treason charges, a capital offense that carries a death sentence upon conviction. We went to court and got bail, something that greatly annoyed President Museveni, who then went out of his way to campaign for scrapping bail for capital offenses. It should be understood that his anti-bail stance is never intended for rapists or armed robbers, but for his political opponents, whom he wishes to lock up on trumped-up charges without a possibility of getting bail or an expeditious trial. In 2012, as the country was gearing up for the Golden Jubilee celebrations of our independence, I and other activists, including Honorable Francis, were arrested along Luwum Street in Kampala, transported to Kasese, and charged with robbery. Prosecution alleged that I, Francis, and many others had assaulted a hawker, robbed him of his Kabiriti phone and 10,000 Uganda shillings in a village somewhere in the Rwenzori Mountains that I have never been to. We were remanded to Mobuku prison. On all the numerous occasions that I have been charged by the regime, prosecution has always failed to prove its case, and the charges have always been dismissed for want of prosecution. In the robbery case, the state brought a police officer who claimed to be the hawker that we had robbed. Fortunately, we had video recordings of this same man in police uniform brutalizing peaceful demonstrators in Kampala. Against such hard, incontrovertible evidence, the state could not sustain its case. It had no leg on which to stand, and the case collapsed rather miserably. The ruling of this case was delivered in late June 2014. 4 months later, after our victory in the robbery case in Kasese, I received a call from a childhood friend that works with the security services. He asked me in a rather agitated voice whether I was in Rukunjiri, my hometown. I asked him why he wanted to know where I was, and he told me that CMI had dispatched people to arrest me in Rukunjiri. He warned me that this time they were determined to make sure that I disappear because courts were frustrating them. I thanked him for the information and quickly worked out my escape plan. I and other 4 activists from Rukunjiri made off immediately for the Uganda-Congo border of Ishasha. Now, I've had people ask, why Congo of all places? Ishasha is the nearest border to Rukunjiri. It would be utter madness on my part to be alerted of enemies closing in on me, and I run from Rukunjiri to Yumbe or to the Busia border. The Ishasha border area is a place that I know rather well, that I could even cross it with my eyes closed. So we made off for the border and managed to cross. When we crossed, using a village path, of course, we went straight to the Congolese immigration office and presented ourselves. The Congolese authorities at Ishasha, instead of receiving us and helping us, they contacted their Ugandan counterparts, who quickly crossed over to Congo to interrogate us. The Congolese accused us of illegal entry. Now, I've heard people say, oh, we were arrested in the bush, we were arrested in Ituri, we had gone for PRA. All that is hogwash. We were never found in any bush. We presented ourselves to the authorities, as the law would require of anybody running away. Those who say that we were in Ituri, I think, have a problem with their heads. Because Ituri and Ishasha have absolutely no connection. Ituri is towards the Sudan border, West Nile. Ishasha is in the south. So how they connect the two beats my mind. So anyway, under international refugee law, a fugitive has a right to be protected by the host government, irrespective of what means one used to enter the country. Because how would you expect someone running away for his or her life to use normal legal channels of entering a country? It's simply not possible. Now, among the Ugandan delegation of about 5 people, there was a major whom I presume was the leader of the delegation. He came and started making phone calls and negotiating on whether to return us back to Uganda or to leave us in Congo. After their consultations and haggling, I think orders came from above that we should be detained in Congo. We were marched off to a nearby military detach in Nyamirima, where we spent about 3 days in a very dark and dutch. Then we were transferred to Ruchuru, where we spent a night, and then taken on to Goma. In Goma, I was separated from my other colleagues and taken to Beni. which was and still is an active war zone. There I was interrogated by CMI operatives who first claimed that I was ADF. Then they said I was PRA. Then they said I don't know, I was God knows what. But the Congolese maintained that their issue with me was one of illegal entry. Now, for that very flimsy and illegal charge, if I may say so, I was transported from Beni to Kinshasa in a very old Antonov military cargo plane, my hands tied behind my back with a sisal rope, and taken almost 2,000 kilometers to Kinshasa. So, today, that's our conversation. The next episode will tackle what happened when we arrived in Kinshasa, the life in prison, and if time allows, we may also talk about how I got out. Thank you for watching.